Welcome to Natchitoches Parish School Board. Ms. Kanika, would you have a roll call, please? Here.
Mr. Benefield,
Here.
Mr. Harris,
Present.
Mrs. McGaskey, Ms. Palmer, Ms. Phelps, Ms. Harvey. Here. Mr. Fredu.
Here.
And Mr. Nicholson.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Superintendent?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Got a pretty lengthy superintendent report. I'll try to go through it quickly. Board, as you are probably aware, because I'm sure you're already getting calls, it is sales tax check time. Want to inform everyone that as of today, at end of day today, we have still yet to receive sales tax figures for the November collection, and so we cannot do any work towards sales tax checks until we have those November collections. So we are not blaming anyone, but we're just telling everyone that to be patient because we can't do our work until we get those numbers. Also want to mention that the performance pay for instructional staff, they're getting the second half of their TAP payout. That will happen, the week prior to the break. So they will receive it, but it'll be the week prior to the Christmas break, and that's because we're also waiting on some data from LDOE. Of course, scores have been released, but we need school VAM data that's calculated by LDOE to finalize that for some of our folks. Want to mention to you, I spoke to our auditor today. They were concerned about a month ago because there was some guidance from the federal government that had not come out yet, and that's probably due to the fact that the federal government was shut down for so many days. They did receive that, I think, over the Thanksgiving break, and so they are confident that they will be able to present to y'all the findings of the annual audit in the January board meetings, and that will allow us to then also have a retreat in mid to late January after the findings of the audit are released, which I know many of you have asked about. Also excited, we are starting a student advisory council for the superintendent. As you know, we have a teacher advisory council, and we are going to start a student advisory. We've already gotten with schools to have them provide their students for that, and we're going to try to have that first Tuesday meeting of January, and we'll have that from 4 to 5, and then we'll present those students collectively to y'all and kind of give them some kudos for being on that student advisory board. I'm very interested to see what they have in store for us as advice. Also, some of you may have heard of, and I know some of you have mentioned to me, something that Governor Landry and also Superintendent Brumley initiated, which is called, Let Teachers Teach. That was done through a 12-member panel of teachers from around the state. In fact, one of teachers and administrators. In fact, we had Miss Diana Curtis served on that committee at the state level, and they produced a number of recommendations for districts to produce to do what that says, let teachers teach. And what we are doing is we're doing a crosswalk to say, okay, this is what the state has suggested, but what does that mean in real time for Natchitoches Parish teachers, et cetera? And so we're really trying to be thoughtful about that and also adhere to the philosophy behind what Dr. Brumley and the governor are doing. And so that came out of a lot of discussion with our teacher advisory council. And so I hope to produce to y'all at the latest March, but I'm hoping for February, a Natchitoches version of what Let Teachers Teach looks like. Very excited to tell you that we will have a day off Friday for our Christmas festival. I know we talk about the calendar a lot, but that is one of those sacred days that even if I wanted to, I don't think I could take away. Also, with that being said, we will be presenting to you, I'm excited to say, calendar options in January. I think last year we were all the way into March, but we have heard from everyone that they want that to be sooner. Some things we have heard from board over the past about some things that they'd like to see in that, so we're going to be implementing that structure. We're also getting feedback from our staff as we speak. And we are also, we have at least one board member who asked us to look into a 2-year calendar. So we are looking at producing for y'all not just 1 year's worth of calendar dates, but 2 years, and presenting to y'all in January. Also, just want to mention, I almost forgot to mention this because I thought we had already talked about it, but I realized we have not had a meeting since November 15th. And that means November 15th was that Saturday where we had the bond election, and we were able to pass the $12.45 million bond in the Provençal Cloutierville newly constructed District 11.
Yes.
It narrowly passed, but it passed.
It passed.
So kudos to those folks out there, and we will be in the process. In fact, we have an item today about canvassing the returns, and we will be in contact with our folks to start to get a timeline for that work out at Provençal. So very exciting stuff. And I believe that is all I have for this month.
Hold on, Superintendent, please explain the rationale, and it's very solid rationale about this Friday being off.
So what I've been told, historically speaking, is that with everyone coming from out of town, that the traffic has always been an issue in Natchitoches Parish, and so it became kind of a, like I said, a golden calf. Although it's also, there's many districts that have similar type items. We have Rapides Parish has a fair day. Grant Parish has the Pecan Festival Day, and we have Christmas Festival Day. So that way we're not putting kids on the roads when we have all these wonderful out-of-towners who are going to spend money with us but may not be used to the roads and the logistics. And it's just easier to let everyone stay home and get ready to spend money at the Christmas Festival.
Well, we have a lot of walkers, and the traffic is big, and the buses trying to get back and forth in those tight corners with all these RVs and stuff. So it makes sense to keep those kids off the road.
It does. And I like to keep my job, so I'm going to keep advocating for Christmas Festival Day off. So. Oh, and I'm sorry, that concludes my report, but I also have an update from Mr. Hall from Natchitoches Central, and he has a trip he wants to discuss with y'all with the orchestra.
Good evening, school board members. I'm Lincoln Hall, and I am the orchestra director at Natchitoches Central. I'm speaking to you this evening because I would like your consideration in allowing me to take a group of orchestra students and some of their parents and some of their siblings to see a Broadway performance of the musical Wicked in Dallas on Saturday, May 16th, 2026. Transportation will be provided by Red River Trailways. Students will not miss any instructional time, and for many of these students, this opportunity, it may be the only opportunity they ever have in their life to see a musical, much less a traveling Broadway production. And for my orchestra students, but for really any student here in the parish, it's a very worthwhile and valuable experience because there are only two truly American art forms. That's jazz and then the American musical. And this is a very popular one with the second Wicked movie coming out just last week. So school board, I would appreciate your support and your consideration for making this trip in May.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. We'll look for you in the western sky. Yeah. And that.
You have daughters, I see.
Yes. We actually were watching it last night. So, Mr. Vice President, that concludes my report for the month of December.
Thank you. Next item is information reports.
So we have just transportation and personnel. You might notice there's a few. Maintenance will be next week. Federal programs will be next week. Also, Ms. Hicks will be next week, although you don't see it on there. And then sales tax is not on there because we have not gotten new numbers on the sales tax. And so I think your first one, Mr. Danzy, is transportation. Or I'm sorry, personnel.
Personnel.
Apologies.
Good evening. Good evening. I know you have access to the report. The main thing that I want to point out is that we do have some fall retirees, but we will honor them at the end of the school year. I have those jobs posted as well as a few other positions that we have vacant, so you'll see them on our website. They're also on social media. We've run some paid ads as well to try to just broaden our search for people to fill the vacancies that we presently have. Bless you. Speaking of the parade, our 2024 Employees of the Year will be participating in the Christmas festival. So if you all are planning to attend, you will see us well represented in the parade again this year. Other things that are happening in human resources, we're having our first wellness event next Tuesday. It's going to be a stress management workshop that will be presented by Mended Mental Health. So I'm excited about that because we need to, I certainly need to do better with managing the work-life balance. And so this will be the first of a series of workshops that will be held to help our employees in the area of stress management. We're also offering a trauma-based workshop next week in partnership with the court system, with FINS, with Miss Anita Dubois has been instrumental in that, and I'm excited to be working along with her. Our employees will get to attend this workshop for free. All the district is having to provide as a space for the workshop to take place, but there will be judges and people who work in FINS from all over our area attending the workshop next week. So, and the canned food drive, we will finish that up Thursday, and our culminating event for that is our first annual chili cook-off. Yes, for central office staff. We're going to wear our Western attire because you might remember that our theme is Stomping Out Hunger. So we'll be walking around looking like cowboys and cowgirls on Thursday. And some of the directors have been talking a lot of noise about this chili cook-off. So if you're available to come through around lunchtime on Thursday, you'll get to sample the chili. Yeah, Dr. Eloy thinks he's going to.
It's Thursday, and
This Thursday. And we also have some celebrity judges coming, so I don't want to disclose who those judges are, but it's sure to be a treat. And on that day, we will, our maintenance department will help to gather up all of the canned goods that we've collected, and those will go to the Cane River Food Pantry. So that concludes my report. Thank you.
excuse me, the workshop. Is it too late to register?
There should be some seats. Are you interested in?
Yeah, because I saw the link.
And Miss Harvey is
Send
as
it.
well, I believe.
Okay, good. Okay, yes, I'll make sure you all get signed up to come. That's exciting.
Thank you, Ms. Wanda. Item 6B, Transportation Report.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Okay. Okay. For the month of November, we completed, 3 drivers completed their training. I'm pretty happy about that because once these 3 drivers completed, it put us about 99% of being 100% fully staffed. So that's something we've been trying to do since I got here, and I think we're getting really close. To that point, we've got 2 currently routes that are open, one of which is the one that we're covering for the district driver. As part of our updates, we trained on a new expanded routing system. We upgraded the system that we had, and so all of our staff is currently trained on it. We're also going to be adding an additional driver out into the southern part of the parish because the bridge over Highway 19 just reopened.
Hallelujah.
About maybe a week or so ago. So it kind of reopened a whole lot of stuff down there, and we'll be adding a driver to compensate for that. In addition to all of that, over the Christmas break, we will be installing the AI assist cameras into the balance of our fleet. This will give us some live look-in capability. And if you combine this with our new expanded routing capabilities, it'll give us a better day-to-day management capability. And as always, we remain engaged and we're focused on coverage, culture, and communication. Are there any questions?
Mr. Baptiste, in the event say a driver calls in the morning,
Yes.
say Route 10.
Yes.
How are those parents notified? Is it by everyone, whoever can notify them, or is there a process that we go by?
All of our drivers have a listing of all of their riders. And so it is our ask that if any driver is not going to be in, that driver contacts those students.
So the drivers themselves? do?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
All right. And second thing, the bridge being reopened and all that reminded me, Highway 9 in front of Lakeview had a lot of work. They're starting again on the other side of the bridge.
Okay.
Where Lakewood Inn, so maybe.
I'll make note.
I came through there this morning and it's
Gotcha.
it's not going well, and it's not. You get off the bridge, it is not smooth at all. So just tell them to be aware of that.
Got it.
So it's
Thank you.
starting over on the other side?
On the other side of Black Lake Bridge now, they haven't even finished on this side,
I
and
know. Go
it's
there,
dangerous, especially at night.
go there almost every day.
Any other questions? Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Item 6C, Federal Programs Report.
That'll be next week.
That'll be next week. Okay. Item 6D, Maintenance Report, and that'll be next week also?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Number 7, Finance, Facilities, and Securities and Insurance.
A,
Sale of school board property.
Yes, ma'am. If Miss Bolton can come up and let us know what this is all about.
Hello, I'm Janice Bolton with Century 21 Bulow Miller. Thank you for having me back. Previously, I had this tract of 3.37 acres listed for the school board. I have the appraisal by Michelle Jordan dated October 30th, 2023 for $8,900. In part of my marketing, I sent letters to adjacent property owners. And for reference, this tract is, you take Highway 156 from Creston and you turn left on Joe Conley Road. And it's a tract that is surrounded by timberland with no accessibility and no utilities to it. And one of the adjacent property owners contacted me in October and was interested in making an offer and has made a written offer for $8,900 cash. He is an attorney. He expressed to me that he's done his own title work, which wasn't a problem with some of the other properties that I had listed. We couldn't prove the school board owned them. But this buyer was willing to sign a cash offer saying he had done title work. He wants to purchase it in a different LLC name than the adjacent property, but that's his business. And the offer expires on December 9th with the closing date of December 12th. His name is Austin Townsend. I believe he's connected with the local Townsend family. So I'm here to present the written offer for your consideration at your next meeting.
And we are retaining mineral rights, correct?
You are retaining mineral rights.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Do I need to return on the 9th?
I don't see any reason.
I wouldn't think so. I think we could take that without your returning.
I'd appreciate a resolution authorizing Mr. Eloy to sign all closing documents as well as the offer, and I can pick it up after it's signed and return it to the buyer and get it closed. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Vendor, RFP.
Yes, ma'am. So this is the culmination of a conversation that was started about 6 months ago. This is the RFP for the busing vendor. If you notice, it is around 20 some odd pages. So I'm not going to read it to you. There are some areas that I would highly suggest that the board review this document. Some of the items that you may be interested in are the number of hours that the minimum number of hours we would allot to a driver. Currently, that's 4. I kept it at 4. I checked the current pay of drivers and kept that range. Now, I did put on this that this is subject to. I was not able to get 2 RFPs. Originally, I was going to have an RFP if stagger start passed, an RFP if stagger start failed. This is an RFP that is just as it is today. If the stagger start agenda item passes, then there'll be the need to maybe adjust some of those numbers of routes and things of that nature. But everything in there right now is based on our current iteration of service. The same number of routes, the same number of drivers, the number of special education drivers, etc. I do think there's room. I don't think there is room for board suggestion. We had talked in the bus committee about some different things, but I wanted to put this out to the full board, and I desperately need you to review ideally in the next couple of days so I can make changes if necessary prior to Tuesday's meeting. And again, it's a lengthy document. You can peruse it relatively fast because a lot of it is boilerplate. Like, some of it will say I don't think we need to get deep into like indemnification or the fact that we require them to have insurance. You'll see kind of the stuff that is really relevant and germane to discussion.
That concludes finance.
Personnel, we will take that next week. Is that correct?
There's nothing under personnel.
That's right.
Yeah.
Executive report under 9.
The disciplinary appeal, we've communicated with that parent. This is for an expulsion appeal. That parent will be here next week. And as always, we offer them executive session or public session. They chose public session. Board, you did receive some communication about details about that. And there's also some superintendent notes on this as well if you're logged in.
Executive report, item number B, stagger start proposal. That was you just discussed that, didn't you?
I don't have anything new on that.
Okay.
But, this is Mr. Benefield's sponsored item, so I don't know if he wants to speak on it.
I do. We started out with 2 proposals, and it's been pared down to 1, simply because the second one was just because of master schedules would not work at all. We're doing this to push back the start time and the pickup time, I should say, for some of these children in these outlying areas. And also it's going to affect the kids in town. Been a lot of discussion. We had a town hall meeting on it. We did have some input, and it's going to be different. There have been other school districts that have implemented these plans, and it's been very, very good for them. We don't know. Part of it, there could be some savings, but that's not necessarily the full goal. Full goal is about children and about the start time and the pickup time that we have in these outlying areas.
Any other comments?
Yeah, I'd like to say something to it. I get the idea behind this and why we originally started talking about this. I think it's turned into a bit more of trying to help Echo and fix problems there. We talk about outlying areas, but Marthaville and Lakeview, Fairview are not changing. And I just think that I go by the feedback that I've gotten, and it's been nothing but negative. No one from my area has asked for it. So I just think that with the new bus company coming in, hopefully some things can be fixed there. And I understand kids getting on the bus early. I mean, I don't want that to have to happen for any of them, but I think living in the parish we live in, it's unfortunate, and it's kind of part of it. And no one can tell us how many kids this would be helping. So I don't think it's something we need to move forward for, and that's my opinion on it. I want to speak to it.
I had a few calls and I asked,
a lot of them what complaining about, because they can't bring the kids to school at 8 o'clock. You know, they can't get to work at 8 o'clock. And when I asked them, did they get off their job to pick their child up at 3 o'clock to bring it home? No, they ride the bus. Well, if they can ride the bus in the evening, why not let them ride it in the morning? Well, we don't want them to ride in the morning. Well, how many in my area and all over don't have that choice to bring their child to the bus and then you get to the school and then get to work? You know, and a lot of them, well, that's what I want to do. Well, a lot of the other parents would like to do that too, but they can't. You know, and like I told one of them, I said, we human and we selfish. I say, put yourself in these parents in my area that their kids got to catch the bus at 6 o'clock in the morning. They don't see them till they get home at 5, 6 o'clock in the evening. But you have the choice to bring your child to work. I say, why not let your child catch the bus? I say, what about if we say if you don't ride the bus in the morning, you can't ride it in the evening? I say, we can't do that. I say, but you making that choice. Because you making that choice to bring that child. Every 1 hour roads, we got a bus running down, and if we don't have a bus running down there, we can have a bus running down. If it's a problem to bring, you want to bring your, you can't get to work on time. Because the average one, the child ride the bus in the morning, but they can ride the bus home in the evening. So where's fair to these kids that they have to ride morning and evening? You know, we looking at one section of, because the teachers is complaining because I can't bring my child. I got to be to work at 8 o'clock. I can't bring my child and drop it off at school. Or I got a child at Marthaville. I got to bring it to Natchitoches Central. Vice versa. Well, put one of them on the bus if you can't do it. That's one reason I'm supporting it, because in my area, kids is really catching it early, and some of them, leaving out of the parish because of that reason. Because mom and daddy works in Rapides Parish, so they can drop the kids off in Rapides Parish. So we losing revenues there. If the kids could ride the bus and come to Natchitoches.
And I understand what you're saying, and I don't disagree with you. I think a lot of the complaints are because of convenience, I'm sure. I hadn't the exact scenario of not riding in the morning, riding in the evening. I haven't gotten that call. I think that.
But the average one was saying they can't drop their child off for them to get to work at 8 o'clock.
Well,
do they get off at 2:30 or 3 o'clock to pick their child up and bring them home?
And I've asked a lot of them.
We'll get off like that if they're a school teacher. And average, a lot of the school teachers that's at other schools and the kids at other school, they can't get off if they got bus duty. They can't leave to go get that child.
I've asked a lot of them why don't they ride the bus? Why don't they utilize that? Because like you said, we can get them picked up on the bus, and a lot of them have had bus issues and bus complaints, so they don't want their kids on the bus, and it's been too much trouble for them. And there are, we say a bus goes down a road, but it doesn't always. I mean, we dealt with an issue last week in Goldina that kids are being asked to go a quarter mile down a dirt road to catch the bus. The parent has to bring them to the end of the road because they won't let them walk it. So, I mean, I guess our bus people are telling them they're not a door-to-door service. That's what's being said to the community. Mm-hmm. So we have issues there. So I just think that, pushing the start time back, Parish, with the outlying areas, we're going to have kids getting off a lot later too. And that's what some of them have told me. They don't want them off. They don't want them having to catch that early, but they also don't want them off that late. And with the way things revolve, doctor's appointments, things like that, I mean, they kind of revolve around getting out of school at that 3 o'clock time. So that's, just for me, it's a no right now. So, but Mr. Matoy, I respect everything you're saying. And I know with what you got to deal with and those kids having that long bus ride, I get it. I understand.
And if you got a parent that the bus company or they telling them they can't go down that road, they got to bring them out. Now the state law say if the road is more than 2/10 of a mile, 3/10 of a mile long, we supposed to provide transportation down there. And if it's longer than that and we deny, now the road have to be passable for that bus to go. If we denying that child a ride there, we tell them they got to bring it out. Tell them we got to pay them mileage to bring that child out there. That is the state law. If we refuse to pick that child up, we have to pay that parent mileage to bring that child where they wanted to be brought?
Well, and I don't know the exact distance on this issue. I talked to Mr. Baptiste a while ago, and he spoke to the parents today, and it's resolved. But I mean, that's just, you know,
That's what I'd like the parents to know. If they tell them they can't pick up their child, now the road have to be passable.
of course.
And you know how our roads in Natchitoches
they're bad.
They have to be passable, but if they can go down there and they don't, they have to pay to bring their child out.
If the road's not passable, and we've talked about this before, I think, but who's responsible for that, or who's responsible for putting a turnaround down at the end of a dead end road? Is that
Parish.
us or the parish?
Parish, we cannot spend money, taxpayer money on those. Now, a lot of times what ends up happening is, in fact, me and Mr.
Dead
Fred,
end.
yeah.
Or a dead end, or
Well, the other issue is a lot of times it's private property. It's a long road, but it's actually private property maintained by. And then what ends up happening, we had an issue. I think it was last year, or the year before.
Last year.
We couldn't do it, and the parish couldn't do it, and it's very difficult to explain that to the public because they look at it as a road. It's used as a road, but it's actually private property, and at the end of the day, they just want their kid picked up, and we can't really help them. Neither can the parish council.
Well, with the turnarounds, they have to sign for so long. Now, things change, but used to be, we could get that from the state that grind up
Yes, sir.
asphalt.
But we've actually had a problem with a lot of people who will do turnarounds. They're good with the turnaround until that turnaround inevitably gets
November.
muddy or something. Yeah, and then they kind of back off and say, oh, you rutted up part of the road, or it wasn't what I expected, or other people are using the turnaround. And so it's one of those things that a lot of times people have misgivings about entering into that too.
We're supposed to have a contract, they have to sign it for so many years.
Yes, sir.
And it's supposed to be filed in
It is, but I'll be honest, since I've been here, I don't think we've had, I think we've had maybe 2 turnarounds. What I mean by that is we're not having a lot of people enter into them anymore because of bad experiences in the past.
So we can possibly deal with this after we settle this issue with the bus company?
It's
'Cause of-
ultimately up to y'all. The problem is that, and I say it's a problem, the issue is going to be putting out an RFP if there's significant changes to what you're asking the service to be. I mean, there are provisions in the RFP about reduction of routes and things of that nature, but you're going to accept an RFP, I think, I want to say it's end of January or early February. You're going to accept a proposal, and it may at that point be difficult. Say you want to do this and say it reduces by 5 routes. That's just me throwing that out there. You may not get the benefit of the reduction in those 5 routes after the fact because you're kind of going back to the table to discuss it. There's provisions for reduction of routes, but I don't know necessarily what that will look like in real time in terms of how much reduction in cost that will mean for us if we're doing that before it even starts. It would be, I think the best course of action is to have it settled either way prior to the RFP, but that's ultimately up to y'all.
And make necessary changes if warranted.
Well, no, I'm saying decide what iteration of service you want prior to the RFP going out. So that way the RFP can go out reflective of what you want, not put out something and then having to change it after the fact.
There's been a lot of conversation about that in the past also, that usually it doesn't work very well
Which part?
for putting a turnaround
Oh, yes,
at someone's house or someone's property. The next item is executive session, and that's the discussion we had earlier, correct?
No, sir. This is executive session on my annual evaluation,
Okay.
my favorite day of the year.
Oh, okay. And we will take that up next
Yes, sir.
Tuesday.
Do we want to, next week, do we want to move that to the last item?
We can. Yeah, I can do that. I actually have, I think I have 1 or 2 more items to add anyway, so I can definitely put that to the very last.
That would be good.
Actually, we can probably put the disciplinary hearing second to last and mine last.
Yeah, okay. Okay, E, discuss and consider, Natchitoches Parish School Board meeting calendar.
Yes, sir. So me and Ms. Kanika got together. We provided y'all two options just because I don't know. We just did. One is a same iteration as it is now. It's a Tuesday, and one is kind of a previous iteration of that Tuesday. Pros and cons to both. Tuesday affords y'all the time in between to discuss matters and read up on stuff. Thursday is a benefit because there's been times throughout this year that when we had the Tuesday, we ended up after the second meeting being like a week and a half away from the next meeting. It's purely y'all's call in terms of staff. We've done both.
What you mean by Tuesday and Thursday?
Tuesday, Thursday would all be in the same week.
Right.
Tuesday would be.
Like we used to do it.
Yeah. Is that correct, Ms. Kanika? Yeah. And so both those are on there. If y'all just peruse those.
Look at it though, something like the October and November is the same on both calendars. It works best to do it Tuesday, Thursday, regardless of which option you choose.
And yeah, and especially November, we have, for instance, the federal election. It's one of the years where we have to take off for the federal election. So we tried to be very thoughtful and to not have to come back to y'all and redo some of the dates like we've had to do in past years. So we think the two options are good. It's just really y'all's preference.
On the Tuesday, on the January, so it's the 13th and 20th, do we not?
That was
When do we come back from Christmas break?
come back on that 5th, and so what we try to do is not come. We would have had one day to prep, so we try to give ourselves a little bit of a cushion there.
I think that's the way it was last year.
I think so. Yeah.
Same in April, coming off of spring break.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and anytime you see us getting within a week of meeting the next month, it's because we caused it.
Correct.
It's our break, and we set a school calendar, and so, there's going to be discussion for and against each one.
Yeah. That's why give y'all the options and let y'all duke it out.
Item 9F, canvassing November 15th election returns, which I'm very positive on.
Yes, sir. This is just the resolution that we have to get back to the bond commission that shows that we canvassed the election. So, pretty simple.
So, no, Mr. Wascom. So, does Dr. Eloy read that paragraph?
Yes, but just the small paragraph, not the entirety.
Item 9G, policy 603.10.01, advertisements on district property, and that was the only property, correct?
So this actually came from LSBA. It was their suggestion and consideration, but it was an optional policy. So I do want to make you aware that we could allow advertisement on district property. I chose to go with the option that says advertising signage shall not be permitted. I just feel like it's a slippery slope. If we ever get to the point where we own some property that's at a nice intersection, we want to build a digital board and get paid for that, we can revisit it. But what I'm looking at here is more like, the little signs that people put out, whether it be for elections or, hey, come get your car washed here or whatever. Do we want to be responsible for being responsible for whatever's being put out there and having to monitor that? I didn't think it's the best course of action, but that's what's in that policy currently.
Advertisement, this is anyone coming to advertise on it, not something we're advertising.
No, yeah, we can advertise, come to our potluck for parent-teacher night, but no, this is like, private business.
Item number 9, H, policy 705.50, retirement plan participation.
Yes, sir. This again came from LSBA. Just changed some verbiage. If you look in the first paragraph, it really doesn't change a whole lot. It's more style than anything. But what it specifically says is that if you're an employee, a full-time employee with a school district, you're going to be on the retirement plan. You can't opt out of TRSL. But if you are one of those employees that is not part of that retirement plan, we do have to offer you the options. For us, we have the God, I can't remember what it's called, Miss Ramona. 3121. We have to mention that to you, but those plans are not mandatory. Those are optional plans, but we do need to make employees aware of them when they come up.
On number 9, policy 601 procurement.
You skipped the we had another retirement.
We had a retirement, didn't we? Yeah. Policy H, policy 705.5, retirement plan participation.
Yeah, this just removed a paragraph. Again, this one was from LSBA. It removed, as a condition of employment, each employee shall participate in the retirement system, and it reworded it in a different way, very similar to the previous one. No real substantive changes, just, again, style over substance.
And we've got policy J, 601 procurement.
Yeah, so if you, again, this came from discussions with our legal counsel, the business department, and discussions during our audit. Our previous policies, and this was a philosophical discussion between LSBA and us, they wanted to trim those down. There are certain areas where trimming it down took a lot of the procedure out of the policy. And so what we did is we went back and looked at the previous policy that we had. Again, it lined out all those procedural type things of how we procure things. For instance, $250,000 for capital outlays have to come before the board. $30,000 things have to get at least 3. So it spells out some of the law, but it's some of that stuff that's needed to be in there, whether it be for a guide or also for auditing purposes and things of that nature. So again, this is very different than the one we're replacing, but it is verbatim what we had prior to the replacement.
And that leaves us with policy, is that K?
Yes.
403.10, expense reimbursements.
Very similar thing to what I just said. We need, some policies can be very broad. Other policies need to really lay out the procedural aspects of the policy in the policy, and that's what this does as well.
We got policy M, 907.40, expulsion.
I'm sorry, you skipped L.
Did I?
Bond
Did I?
sales and debt limitation. This one again, Mr. Guy's, business department and the auditor, we're putting more procedure back in these policies so everyone knows exactly what to do and how to do it.
And after LM, policy 907.40, expulsion.
So these policies that we're basically putting more checks and balances.
There are working documents in the business department that they utilize. The problem is that some of those things they're historical. They're not necessarily policy. The need is for these to be in stone in our policy manual. And I understand where LSBA is coming from, but remember we have multiple people we have to kind of adhere to, and one of those is our auditor. And when they want something in our policy, we can discuss it, but at the end of the day, if they really want it, we're going to put it in there. So
Yeah. And our auditor wants to make sure we have good checks and balances.
yes, sir.
All right, that's a safety
Yep.
issue.
It is. All right, expulsion. This comes from legislation, and all it did was it added some lines about the mandatory expulsions. It doesn't specifically reference them. It just says that you have to reference law, but that is in there, that there are some expulsions that we have to adhere to, although we do have some discretion even within that. But that is something that came from LSBA and needed to be added.
And the next policy is 913.20.01, mental health assessments and screenings.
Yes, sir. This one came from LSBA, and it's a law. Basically, if a parent wants to have a mental health assessment, it is for their child. It's their right, and this outlines how we can assist them with that.
And policy 403.00 accounting practices.
This again is the final one with the discussions with the auditor and business department and Mr. Geis. Again, it puts a lot more meat in there. Some of it reiterates some of the other stuff, but as I mentioned to you, public works, materials and supplies, it really lays out also what goes to y'all and what stays with me. So I think I would hope y'all would see the guidance in this, because whether I'm here or there's a new board, this will make sure that the same practices endure after all of us.
And that concludes it.
Yes, sir. And I do hope to have under 4 or 5 policies per board meeting going forward. But me and Ms. Ramona have been working on this pretty diligently to really get that policy manual where we really want it. So,
Dr. Eloy, am I correct? Are the junior high championships Thursday
basketball championships, yes, sir.
at Lakeview?
Yes.
What time?
Ooh, you asked me a question that
Clock starts at 5.
I have the email from.
Starts at 5.
4 different games.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
4
we'd
different
like-
games.
I'd like to see people come out for that. It'd be a lot of fun.
And I know Coach Williams has put something out, and
5 is the first.
Yeah, it started, they
Here it
had
is.
it down for 4.
the third place game is 5 p.m. Third place boys, that's the girls game. The third place boys game is 5:45, and then first place game is at 6:30 for the girls and 7:15 for the boys. $10 admission at the doors, and they open at 4:30.
And they usually award like the all district teams and stuff like that. Like in
They do a
between.
really, Coach Williams does a really good job of organizing this, so I'm sure it'll be similar.
I think we got a sound system issue, so hopefully it's fixed.
It's minor. I spoke to Ryan.
And I just, I'm going to bring my sound system on there,
Okay, he told me yesterday he was working on it, but
Yeah.
okay.
too. Yeah, but it's a time-sensitive thing, too.
Gotcha.
So we, it was a little bigger than what we thought.
It always is.
Also, if you'll notice on your desk, I placed a form for you to fill out regarding the 2026 LSBA conference and Capital Conference. I will register you for that as you get it to me. In the past, I've done it in bulk, but because of how they do the hotels now, if you want to get in the host hotel, I got to get it done quick, because I can't do reservations until I register you for conference. So keep that in mind. If you wait to get it to me and it fills up, you may be in a hotel 2, 3, 12 blocks down.
Yeah, put us over there where we eat that good breakfast.
I'm just saying, I have no control over
And
it,
that
so
ain't
I
the
will
host-
register you
that ain't
as
the
you get it
host.
to me.
That ain't the host motel there.
So,
I don't know what it is.
One last thing, board. You notice that executive session for evaluation. I've been working with Mr. Nicholson on. We had to get a new evaluation measure because the state law has changed that. I think 15% of my evaluation has to reference reading and 15% numeracy. So we have 2 documents from Mr. Geis. We were waiting on a third, but we're not sure that's going to come in. At the very least, I will send you the one that I think the committee has settled on, and then we'll hope that the supposed better version will come before the 9th. But if not, you'll have that one for your.
You want to send the one that make you look the best?
Actually,
Hey, send every one of them. Send them all.
I'll send them all. But the one that we decided on was the one that.
Yeah, I would too, yeah.
The smallest numbers. The one with the smallest requirements.
It's the one that meets the requirements and also requires the least amount of writing on your part. It's more of a fill in the number instead of write paragraph for each thing. Yeah.
He checked the boxes.
I'm trying to help y'all out as much as possible while also not hurting myself. So
We need all the help we can get.
this was not my creation. This is coming from Mr. Geis because the legislation meant we had to abandon the old one. So.
Yeah, well, we need to make sure that we're looking at the whole body of work, not just 1 or 2 things that may have not we've agreed with or disagreed with. We need to look at what we've done all year, with the superintendent, transparency, progress, all the different things that he's kept us informed with, and we need to look at the whole body of work as opposed to just one or two items that didn't necessarily go our way. But Superintendent, I'm kind of interested in what Mr. McTwire said is which one you're going to send.
I will send y'all both, but I think y'all will see the wisdom in selecting the one that won't make you write a novel. But if y'all want to do that, that's up to y'all.
Are there any other items? Well, that concludes the one tonight. We're expelled.
All right.